Okay, let's just admit it, right? We're all a little bit distracted these days, maybe more than a little.
Hmm.
The constant phone notifications, that endless scroll. Staying focused feels like, I don't know, a real challenge.
It really does. Like fighting an uphill battle sometimes.
But what if mastering focus isn't about like some kind of superhuman willpower you just have?
Yeah. What if it's something else?
What if it's more about building, smarter habits
Yeah.
and systems that actually guard your time, your energy?
That's exactly what we're digging into today.
Yeah, so welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a deep look at mastering self-discipline in the age of distraction.
Exactly. And our mission here is to unpack some simple, um, really actionable steps you can actually use.
Mm.
Steps to build strong self-discipline.
And we've pulled these ideas from a curated set of material and sort of designed to give you a shortcut, really,
Mm-mm.
to getting informed on this, because it feels pretty crucial right now.
Absolutely essential, I'd say.
So, okay, let's start right at the core. When we say self-discipline, what are we really talking about? Is it just being, like, super strict? Because that sounds not fun.
Right. And that's a common misconception. It sounds like deprivation.
Yeah.
But what the sources suggest is fascinating. It's not really about being harsh.
Okay.
It's more about controlling your actions, yes, but also your emotions, your habits,
Oh,
all aimed at achieving your long-term goals.
right.
But here's the key insight, I think. It's fundamentally about self-respect.
Self-respect. How so?
Well, it's about choosing what's genuinely good for your future self,
Mm-hmm.
not just what feels good, right now in the moment.
Ah, okay. Like looking out for the future you.
Exactly. Think
Okay.
about it. When you prioritize that future self, you're building trust, you're building respect with yourself. It's not denial, it's an investment.
That actually reframes it completely. It makes it feel less like a chore, more like self-care almost.
Precisely. It shifts the feeling from I have to do this
Mm-hmm.
to I choose to do this for myself. The much more positive, sustainable approach.
Okay, I can see that. That makes a lot of sense. But even with that positive mindset, distractions are just everywhere. They feel relentless. Where do you even start?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The first step, really, is identifying your personal attention thieves. What pulls you away?
Right. Because it might be different for everyone.
Absolutely. Though there are common culprits,
Yeah.
the research points strongly towards, the usual suspects. Social media apps, definitely mobile notification,
Oh, yeah, the notifications.
endless scrolling we mentioned, like on
Yeah.
Instagram or YouTube. But also, maybe less obviously, things like negative people in your environment can also be major distractions.
That's interesting. So how do you pinpoint them, like practically? Because I know I just pick up my phone for a second and poof, 20 minutes gone.
Yeah, the time warp effect. There's a very practical action step suggested. Track your distractions for a week.
Okay. Like keep a log.
Exactly. Note what pulled you away, but also when it happened, maybe why you think it happened,
Yeah.
and crucially, for how long you were sidetracked. Wow, okay. That sounds potentially revealing and maybe a little scary.
It can be. But that awareness, just seeing it written down, is huge. You can't really fix a problem until you truly acknowledge it exists, right?
True. Okay, so you've got this awareness, you know what's distracting you, what's next, because often I think we set these huge goals. I'm going to get fit, or, I'll read more books.
Right, those big, ambitious statements.
Yeah, they feel good to say, but then nothing happens. They're just too vague, maybe, too overwhelming.
That's a really common trap. Vague goals, or goals that are just too big, often lead straight to inertia. You don't know where to start, so you don't.
Makes sense.
So what's emphasized is making goals small, really
Mm.
small, and clear, actionable, and ideally with a specific deadline or time attached.
Okay, so give me an example. Instead of, I want to be fit.
Maybe it's, I will walk for 15 minutes every morning right after I wake up.
Ah, okay, super specific. Or instead of, I want to read more.
It could be, I will read or maybe study for just 25 minutes at 8 a.m. before starting work. That's specificity. Yeah, I can see how that makes it feel much more doable. You can actually picture yourself doing it.
Exactly. And there's another little trick, kind of related to this idea of starting small. It's called the 2-minute rule.
The 2-minute rule, what's that?
It's simple. If a task takes less than 2 minutes to complete, just do it immediately. Don't put it on, don't add it to a list. Just do it.
Huh. Like putting a dish straight into the dishwasher or answering a quick email.
Precisely those things. It helps overcome that initial resistance, that activation energy needed to start. Because often the hardest part is just starting.
That makes sense. It's about reducing friction, getting those tiny wins. But, relying purely on willpower, even for small things, it just feels exhausting sometimes.
It absolutely is.
Right.
And the source material really challenges that idea that willpower is the only answer.
Well, what's the alternative?
Designing your environment, shifting the focus from internal struggle to external setup.
Okay, designing your environment for success. What does that look like? What kind of strategies?
Well, it's about making your desired actions easier and undesired actions harder. So practically, maybe placing your phone in another room while you're trying to focus on work.
Ooh, that's a tough one for some people.
It can be. Or turning off all non-essential notifications. That's huge. Maybe using website blockers, apps like Cold Turkey or Freedom, to physically prevent you from accessing distracting sites during work hours.
Right, you're basically removing the temptation so willpower isn't even needed as much.
Exactly. You're engineering your environment to support your goals. It's like that pro tip. Make good habits easy, make bad habits difficult.
I love that. Make it easy to do the right thing. And speaking of habits, routines and rituals come up a lot in this discussion too, don't they?
Oh, massively. The emphasis is really clear. Consistency trumps intensity. Fleeting motivation is unreliable, but solid routines, they carry you through.
Why are they so powerful?
Because they automate behavior. They remove the need to constantly decide, what should I do next? Should I do this now or up? That decision-making drains mental energy. Routines conserve it.
Okay, so what kind of routines are suggested?
Well, they break it down nicely. A potential morning routine, maybe waking up a bit earlier, some light stretching, planning out your day, even just the top 3 priorities.
Makes sense. Get grounded before the chaos hits.
Yeah. Then a work routine. Things like keeping your desk clean, maybe using noise-canceling headphones, setting timers for focused work blocks like the Pomodoro technique.
Okay, and then an evening routine.
Super important for winding down. Maybe reviewing your day briefly, planning priorities for tomorrow so you don't wake up stressed, and critically, disconnecting from screens, like at least 30 minutes before bed.
That last one. I know that's a biggie for a lot of us, myself included. It's hard to put the phone down.
It is, but it's presented as really key for sleep quality and mental unwinding. These routines, they're like frameworks for discipline. And part of that framework is also about cultivating delayed gratification.
Ah, delayed gratification, waiting for the reward. That feels very countercultural right now in our instant everything world.
It totally is. Everything's designed for instant feedback, instant pleasure.
So how do you even practice delaying gratification?
Well, the guidance suggests starting small again. Consciously reward yourself after you finish a task, not before or during.
Okay.
And consciously resist those instant urges, like checking your phone every 2 minutes just because you can. It's about building that muscle of waiting.
And why is that muscle so important?
Well, there's a pretty profound insight shared. The individual who can consistently delay gratification tends to go very, very far in life.
Wow. In what sense? Like career success?
Yes, but not just that. It correlates with success in health, relationships, achieving long-term personal goals. Pretty much across the board. It's a powerful predictor.
That's a really strong takeaway. Okay, so related to discomfort maybe, the material also talks about embracing boredom.
Yeah.
Which sounds awful. Why embrace boredom?
Huh. Yeah, it does sound counterintuitive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But think about it. Our minds are constantly seeking novelty stimulation. So when you actively remove distractions, put the phone away, turn off the TV, you will eventually feel bored. It's almost inevitable.
And the natural instinct is to immediately find something to fill that void.
Exactly. Grab the phone, turn the TV, find some input. The key insight here is to learn to just sit with that feeling. Don't immediately flee from it.
Just be bored. How do you practice that?
Maybe by taking deliberate screen-free breaks during the day. Or practicing mindfulness, just noticing your thoughts, the feeling of boredom, without judging it or needing to react immediately.
Okay, I can see how that would be a practice, but why? Why is sitting with boredom actually beneficial?
Because boredom, it turns out, isn't just empty space. It's actually a pathway to deeper focus, and importantly, creativity.
Really? How?
When your brain isn't constantly bombarded with external input, it gets a chance to wander, to process information subconsciously, make new connections, generate ideas. It's where the deeper mental work often happens. Escaping boredom constantly prevents that.
That's a completely different way to think about being bored. Not as a negative state to escape, but as an opportunity.
Precisely. An opportunity for your mind to do its own thing.
Okay, this is all incredibly helpful. We've talked about understanding discipline as self-respect, identifying distractions, setting small goals, designing our environment, building routines, delaying gratification, even embracing boredom. Wow. So how do we keep it all going? Because progress can feel really slow sometimes.
That's where tracking progress and celebrating wins comes in. It's vital.
So like the distraction log, but for positive habits.
Yeah, it could be habit trackers, keeping a simple diary or journal, just something to make your progress visible. And it's really important to celebrate the small victories along the way.
Why the celebration part?
It builds momentum, it reinforces the positive behavior, makes you feel good about the effort. Also, conducting maybe a weekly review, looking back, seeing what worked, what didn't, and adjusting your approach for the next week. It's an iterative process.
Yeah, that makes sense because as the material points out, momentum is essential, right? Those small daily steps,
Yeah.
they really do add up over time. It's not about giant leaps.
Exactly. It's the aggregation of marginal gains, as they say. Tiny improvements, consistently applied, lead to significant results.
So, wrapping this all up then, it seems self-discipline isn't some fixed destination you arrive at, but more of a lifelong practice, a journey.
Absolutely. And its relevance today, well, it couldn't be clearer, cut it. In this world overflowing with distractions, the ability to actually focus, to direct your own attention, that really is a kind of superpower.
It truly is. It leads to a more intentional, more fulfilling life, it seems. Reclaiming your attention feels like reclaiming your life.
Well said.
Okay, so as we finish this deep dive, let's leave you, our listener, with a final thought to mull over, based on everything we've discussed. What single, small, consistent action could you commit to starting today? Something that would build a better life for your future self, using these insights we've explored.